Here is the 2024 Land Rover Discovery Dynamic SE in Fuji White. When you option this trim, you're getting the two-tone look, which is iconic to Land Rover. Larger wheels, and going up to the Metropolitan Edition, which we received last year, gets a more powerful powertrain. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over the comparable rivals, some pros and cons, and the problem that I have with the Discovery. Up front is going to get premium LED headlights and daytime runnings. It's auto leveling, and it goes into the gloss black elements because we're in the Dynamic SE. The lower is going to get the gloss black elements as well, carrying on into the side air vents. Front and rear parking sensors with a 360-degree reverse camera, fording through water over 35 inches, which is nearly 3 feet. That's one of the best in class. Now the Lexus GX is going to be more with towing capabilities, and the Infiniti QX80 will also out-tow this one. So the refresh for those are starting to make the Land Rover go a little bit more behind, but when you're comparing it against BMW and Mercedes, this is going to be a little bit more off-road oriented. We will lose 59 horsepower going to the P300 opposed to the P360. The latter, which is what we have, is going to have the 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged, producing 296 horsepower with 295 pound-feet of torque compared to an 8-speed automatic transmission, achieving 19 mpgs for the city, 24 mpgs for the highway, reaching 60 at 6.9 seconds. Gloss black elements is going to highlight the side fenders, which encases these 21-inch gloss black alloy wheels. The SE will get 20-inch. The Metropolitan Edition will get 22-inch. The two-tone for the roof and the body, I think this should be standard for Land Rover, so I like that at least you're getting that when you go up from the SE to the Dynamic SE. Raised roof rails so you can put tie downs instead of having to pay extra for the roof rails, so you can actually utilize the 176 pounds that you can fit on there. With this engine option, towing is up to 5,952 pounds. When you go P360 or the Metropolitan Edition, 8,200 pounds, but it's still not going to be the best in class. So when I'm looking at Land Rover, I'm usually expecting it to be the best in class in a lot of things, not just fording through water and off-road capabilities, but all-round performance, except for obviously racing the vehicle, because you don't buy that for this. And another benefit of the Dynamic SE opposed to the base model is you can option the P360 engine. So you'll get maximum towing capabilities, even though it's not going to be the best in class. LED taillights, the rear is going to be a little bit more simplified with the lower roof spoiler that is hiding the rear windshield wiper, with air suspension and adaptive dampers, hill descent control with terrain response that includes your selectable driving and off-road modes, and the taillight assembly will be darkened opposed to the SE. Power liftgate going into 11.46 cubic feet. It's going to sit up high, you expect that. You also have this wall, which is a nice thing. It can electronically lower down. You have bag holders on both sides, a 12-volt charger, and you can lower the suspension or raise it in the back. And that's going to make loading a lot more simplified. So we're going to fold down the third row at a 50-50 split, increasing cargo to 43.35 cubic feet. Electronically fold down the second row to max cargo to 76.93 cubic feet of storage. 16-way power seat adjustment, heated and ventilated front seats. This Windsor leather color is an upgrade, and I like how you can contour this to your head so it's more of a pillow memory for the driver. And the front occupants have the captain seat capabilities because it is more wide for the front, therefore giving you an armrest right here so you don't have to sit like this. Headroom and leg room. The Disco has a lot of space for the front occupants, and I like how the dash is laid out because you have this perforated interior. And on the passenger side, we got a bag holder with 2 glove box and a 12-volt charger right here. And you'll still have your regular glove box. The tech pack adds the heads-up display. 11.4 Pivi Pro with navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. These are the quick wedges. You also have the weight sensing. And this will tell you the 4x4 or your pinch and roll with the trail information, or basically every mode. This is what they do. So you can pause it and read it. I'm just going to skim through it real quick. And to put it into reverse, we have a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory for the front and the rear. You can click onto these camera positions here by just a simple tap, or you can just go around the vehicle like this. We have the off-road, and you also have for the towing lineup, so that way it will be easier for you to line it up. When you push this, it opens up to another little storage unit underneath the infotainment screen. Dual climate control settings for the front, and it's multi-use. So when you push it in for the heated and ventilated, when you pull it out, this is to change the fan speed, and this will just be for your temperature. Wireless charging pad, and another area that you can put a smartphone with a USB, and they have an actual physical button to turn on and off the sound system and to change the volume. And the same thing for the modes. You push this up and you can go into eco and just change in all of the different driving dynamics right on the fly. When you put it in, it's going to be auto. Open this up and you got two areas that you can put the key fob, which one here or a smartphone. And here it is for the disco. It's going to be a little bit more firm. It's going to open up into a refrigerator because we have the comfort pack with more USB ports. And you get a little storage compartment here that you can put a notepad. The steering wheel is multi-function and multi-functionality yet again, because the gauge cluster, you can configure the layout to it, which I typically leave it on the two dials like this. And then what I do is I change the actual infotainment panels, and I'll put the navigation typically in the center, or you can do the pinch and roll. Auto dimming rear view mirror with a large pano for the front. Door panels start with the Meridian sound system that's 400 watts, and you get the same pattern that is on the dash on the top of the door. It's going to be a little bit more firm, but it is an off-road vehicle with a long storage pocket, with a hidden pocket right on the driver's side. For the second row headroom and leg room, these can also adjust forward, which I wouldn't be able to fit, and you can electronically recline them back a little bit. You're going to have a charger right here with a connector that you could put for your clothing or an iPad or Android holder. Storage behind both of the front seats. Dual climate control setting. It's unique because you'll pull it out to change the temperature fan speed. You push it in for heated ventilated. As you see, this is only heated seats. It will not illuminate for the blue. But what I dislike is you still have the blue. They should just kind of take that off. 12-volt charger right here with two more USB ports, cup holders with an armrest, and the door panel. It's going to have the same materials that's found in the front. I don't like this. It would have been nicer to have an air vent or just make it closed off. It's going to be soft to touch where it needs to be. A long storage pocket with a beverage holder carved out, sliding to the center. The floor is nearly flat. You have your own feet space, butt, shoulder space, leg space. There's no problem at all sitting into the center. The same thing with headroom, except we don't really have a pano here. Instead, we have these LED interior reading lights and the air vents in the ceiling. To go to the third row, push the button. It's going to electronically move for you. Then it stops, slide it. It's going to be a little bit heavy. And that's the entrance to the third row. Headroom and leg room. It's not going to have anything for armrest. You will have air vents, large back windows, LED interior lights, and the moonroof for the third row. 296 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, 8.1 inches of clearance, and up to 11 inches of clearance, which is really good for off-road capabilities. Some things that I like right off the bat is how smooth the vehicle is. It is large, it does feel that way, it feels wide, but it's just such a smooth vehicle that it's like you're driving an airplane first class. And I also like that you can see the camera when you're driving at higher speeds, which none of the other vehicles give you that capability. In which, when you're getting an off-road vehicle and something that's luxurious, you want to be able to have the best of both worlds. And I think Land Rover did a good job with that. The seats are comfortable. I'm not a huge fan of the captain's seat or the armrest that they add for the front occupants, because it's a bit of an overkill. You don't really need it. It does have a bit more width for the front, but it's not going to be something that's going to swallow you. If you're concerned about this engine variant being sluggish, it's actually not bad. I mean, 0 to 60 is under 7 seconds, which is quick for this big of a box on the road. As for dynamics and maneuverability, you can see easy in and out. Steering will have a little weight to it, but for the most part, it just glides. It's a larger steering wheel, so that indicates that it is a longer vehicle. And we're gonna do some hard brakes right now so we can check that out. It's not gonna stop on a dime, but it isn't too bad either. Turn radius at a stop point more or less is gonna be 3 lengths. Now we're gonna rock and roll. You're gonna hear the engine whenever you're getting on it, and because of this power variant, you will be hitting more of a 3 RPM to get it motivated for the day in and day out use. That's gonna take me to some pros and cons. We're gonna slam on the brakes so you can see what I mean by it's not as airtight as I would like compared to some of the competition. As for my pros, the infotainment screen, you do not have to do everything in it. You actually have physical buttons, which a lot of Land Rover, Range Rover is going the route where everything is in the Pivi Pro and no buttons, which they even give you more storage when you push this little lever here behind the dual climate control settings for the front. I dislike that you have to add a lot of packages though in order to make it as luxurious or refined as it is. I do like that when you get into the Dynamic SE, you get both power variants, because 8,200 pounds opposed to 5,900 and change of towing is a night and day difference, especially if you're looking to buy a boat. Another con is the pano moonroof doesn't really go into the second row. In most cases, people don't really utilize the third row as much. They use it here and there, so it's more or less for extra cargo capacity. One thing to note also is you will have to mash the gas pedal quite a bit when you're already up to speed in order to get the car a little bit more motivated. It doesn't want to necessarily change gears. The visibility is good, the clearance is great when I'm thinking about the rivals like Lexus and Infiniti, because they just got a refresh. Both two of them will have a little bit more capability, especially in the towing department, except for the Infiniti. It will tow the same as this when you option the P360 engine. And I guess the biggest problem that I have with the Discovery is it's getting a little bit dated in the interior, even though we did have some light refresh a couple years back, plus we got the Metropolitan Edition last year. It's just not fitting into the segment against some of the competition in the sense of getting extra capabilities, cleaning up the center a little bit more, so giving us a little bit more storage components. I like that we get a refrigerator, but you got to option that as well. I like that you get 4-zone climate control, but that's also an option, in which some of these things, when I'm going into the Dynamic SE, I feel they should start becoming standard, especially if you're not optioning the more powerful variant underneath the hood. As for BMW and Mercedes, the technology is going a little bit more advanced. Here's a little bit more glitchy. And another con is going into the third row. Moving the second seats, you have to do multiple steps in order to do it, similar to like Chevy, Cadillac. And then to use the third row, either to put the seats up or down, just a little bit more work because of that electronic holder that is right in front of the tailgate. But overall, for a package, you're getting a great value in the sense of something that's great on and off road, plus adding luxury, and you can spec it out to be a little bit more unique to your liking opposed to going up trim levels. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Land Rover Tampa for giving us this 2024 Land Rover Discovery Dynamic SE for our car review.